And good morning, everybody. I'm Frank Spillers, and welcome to Rural Community Solutions TV live stream, where Rural Community Solutions helps create family-friendly, youth-centered places that attract people that you want. And that's really where we're at, because nowadays people are choosing where they want to live, and then they're moving there, and they're bringing their jobs and their business with them. So in your area, if you want to look at how do we increase population, how do we help people move into our community, help people move into our state, you have to create the atmosphere. You have to create the environment to where people feel like they belong. And that takes effort. It's not just typical economic development where we build a park, we build trails, we build something that's an amenity that you think people are going to like. You have to describe the person that you want to have live in your community, right down to the minute details of what do they watch on TV? What kind of cars do they drive? Who are they? Where do they live? Do they like, what do they like? Those things. And we have processes put into place that we do that before we even get going on doing a strategic plan or helping you plan your community. Because if you really want to create a family-friendly, youth-centered place in your business, in your organization, in your community, it has to have that atmosphere. It has to have the environment to attract them. And we focus on how do you attract entrepreneurs? How do you attract an entrepreneurial and create an entrepreneurial economy in your community? Because really, entrepreneurs, they are the ones, they're the job creators. And if people are looking at how do we create jobs in this country, or how do we get people to work, it has to think like an entrepreneur. You have to think like that entrepreneur to attract the entrepreneur. And so this week, last week, we introduced the subject, and this week we're continuing it on, of stress. How are people handling stress, specifically coming out of COVID? They've been on lockdown for approximately 15 months, or in some sort of lockdown in 15 months. Entrepreneurs have had a hard time. And there's communities out there that don't even know all of their entrepreneurs. They don't have systems in place to help their entrepreneurs. There's no ecosystem. There's no support. There's no safety net. There is not an understanding of entrepreneurship. They think they have entrepreneurship going in their community, but there is not an understanding of entrepreneurship. And so this is this show is all dedicated to how do we build rural America based upon entrepreneurship. I want to tell you that entrepreneurs are going through huge amounts of stress. Now, what do we mean by stress? Well, stress is the perception and expectations of an event or a belief or a thought process or something that entrepreneur is going through right now. And this is for everybody. All right, so you have an event, and then you as a person have expectations. So here you have an entrepreneur in 2019 that was going pretty good. The economy was building. It was going pretty good. Then you had COVID hit. Excuse me. Then you had COVID hit and shut everything down. People couldn't do business. You had restaurants closing. You had Main Street closing because people could not go downtown. They could only go out to essential places. And so there was a whole bunch of restriction. Well, that restricted cash flow. And when an entrepreneur's cash flow is restricted, they don't get a paycheck. They don't get a consistent paycheck if they don't have consistent customers. It's not like that person has a job or a job to go to where they rely on somebody else to pay them. They go to their work, they go to their passion, and they rely on customers. They rely on their product to produce their income. And when that is cut off, then your expectations and your perceptions create that new reality, and that creates stress. And stress creates a whole host of medical issues that you can that you can find, because the stress, the events go through your five senses, and those five senses then all conglomerate within your cell structure, and they do something. Now, the stress of the event and the emotion, it gets caught in the place called the amygdala. The amygdala, I hope you can see this on the screen, is right here, right in the middle portion of your brain. The amygdala holds what's called your fight or your flight and your emotions. In other words, back in prehistoric times, you would always be on edge for a tiger to come out of the bushes, or you would meet a tiger, or you'd meet a bear, you'd meet some wild animal going around the corner. So you were always on edge. And when you met that animal, your emotions shot up, and you either would run from that animal or you would fight the animal. That's fight or flight. Humans still have that instinct within them. I mean, it's just kind of an ingrained instinct. We have an event that happens, and then we either fight it or we run from it. And that's fight or flight. And that causes the emotion. And when that emotion in the event and the emotion gets caught in the amygdala, we don't have to physically go through the event anymore for the emotion to pop up. All we have to do is think about the event. So when you're thinking about that event, that emotion comes up. So when an entrepreneur is thinking about failure, when an entrepreneur is thinking about that event that happened, it could happen again. What happened last year? What happened in the last 15 months? That entrepreneur is reliving the event. It's not just as simple to say, let go of the past. It's not that simple. You relive that. Now, there is techniques you can help let go of the past, to get over that and to get through your fear. And that's something else that we teach. But it's easier said than it is done. Trust me, I'm going through it. And so as that event thinks about that, and it's in the amygdala, that increases all body functions. That increases your heart rate. It can increase your cortisol levels, which increases your weight. In men, it gives them that spare tire all the time, and it lowers the testosterone level. So all of these things add up, and over time, you can really start to affect your body like this. Now, this is from the Chopra Center on there, but it is a chart that when your blood pressure rises and you have high blood pressure, you are in line for heart disease. Okay. When your stress hormone rises, you have anxiety, insomnia, you can have addictions, you can have weight gain on there. When your digestive system slows down, the physical reaction of stress, when you don't eat, I mean, you're going through so much, you're not hungry. So your digestive system slows down. Well, you could have gastrointestinal problems. When you're under stress and your growth and sex hormones fall, you can have premature aging. Your immune system could weaken, and you have infections and cancer. You can have sticky blood platelets increase, and you could have heart attacks. So when the stress becomes chronic stress and high stress, it affects the body in physical ways to where you can have a long-term impact on that. Now, we're going to be teaching this Saturday in Council Bluffs, Iowa. We have a workshop called Life's Defining Moments. We're going to be teaching this to early care and education providers on how they're handling the stress coming through COVID and how they can help their kids come through stress and help them de-stress, because that's important for kids also, because just like in adults, with kids, a traumatic event stays with them over the course of their life. They might not even realize it's a traumatic event, but it's ingrained in their brain. Your brain is an amazing instrument that you need to move through. So if your economic development organization does not have a mental health component or a stress reduction component or something to help your entrepreneurs get through this crisis, then you're missing out on a huge opportunity to increase. You're missing out, and you're not doing a very good job of doing an existing business program within your community. Entrepreneurs are needing mental health. Entrepreneurs are needing help stress reduction. They go through a lot. They are constantly worried about, will I have enough? Will my customer stay? Is my product working the way it is? What's going to be happening with the economy? What's going to be happening with COVID? What's going to be happening? Will I be open? Are policies changing to where will I be open? That causes stress. There always is that what if. Now, entrepreneurs don't live in the what if. They live in the it's going to work. And that helps, but still they go through quite a little bit. So you need that component in your economic development opportunities. You need that component in your community, and that will help build that environment to where people feel they're cared for and they belong. So come on back all week. We're going to be talking about this through this week, talking about stress, mental health, and what it does for entrepreneurs, and why you need an entrepreneurial program that deals with mental health, and a mental health program that deals with your entrepreneurs. So I'm Frank Spillers. Catch us on our YouTube channel at Rural Community Solutions TV, or you can catch us on our podcast at Think Like an Entrepreneur, Become a Spark Plug. I hope you all have a great day. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.